love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. There is a verse, sabi sa Psalms, ating pakiflash. Sabi sa Psalms 18:49. Can we read this verse all together? Ready? Begin. For this, O Lord, I will sing praise among the nations. I will sing praises to your name. Diba? Naalala ko yung preaching ni Pastor Bob last Sunday. Sabi niya, sino gusto ng storm? Taas ang kamay. Meron ba gusto rito na may storm kayo sa buhay? Wala nagtataas. Sinabi niya, hindi niyo ba alam behind every storm may blessing? So, talaga, no? Pero hindi niyo ba alam? Every time na dumadaan naman tayo doon, at lumalapit tayo kay Lord, then matututunan mo talaga magpasalamat sa lahat ng bagay na kung ano ba yung meron ka na, siyempre yung relationship natin sa Panginoon. Although mahirap, pero in the middle na kung saan sinisik mo si Lord sa quiet time mo, sa magbabasa mo ng Bible, sa prayers mo, all of a sudden, nakakalimutan mo na yung problema. And then you started to praise. Nagpapasalamat ka na sa Panginoon sa lahat ng bagay. Nangyari na po ba sa inyo yun? Nangyari na. Amen, no? Yun, nagpapasalamat ka sa lahat ng bagay, munting bagay lang, naalala mo yung kwento ni, hindi ko alam kung si Ate Kay, sorry Ate Kay, pero gagawin ko yung station ko. Maalala si Ate Kay, o si Ate Joy, na parang pagkatapos mga anak, kinakailangan lang, yung makasutot ka lang. Malaking bagay na yun, di ba? Tama po ba ako? Pinasasalamatan mo sa Panginoon yun. Sa lahat ng bagay, dapat kilalanin natin, matutunan natin talaga magpasalamat. Alam niyo, next song kakantay natin, that's the title of the song. Every praise is to our God. Amen? Every praise is to our God. Tapos ano sa amin yung lyrics natin? Every word of worship with one accord. Every praise is to our God. Naniniwala mo ba tayo na church? Kamusta yung pag-isip nyo? Nagpasalamat po ba kayo? Na tumitibok pa yung puso nyo? Wala naman siguro nag-check dito, okay ka pa ba lungs? Okay ka pa makikinig? Pero nandito tayo ngayon sa biyaya ni Lord, sama-sama mabubuhay. Kakantahin natin to, awitin natin nang may buong pasasalamat sa lahat ng biyaya na tanggap natin. Pasalamat natin sa Panginoon. Lalong-lalo na yung kaligtasan. Kasi kung hindi dahil sa kaligtasan, doon nagsimula. Doon sa plano ng Panginoon, na pinadala niya ang kanyang buong anak. Na tayo, hindi natin hinahanap ang Diyos ang humanap sa atin. Naparito siya para mamagitan at makilala natin kung sino talaga ang Diyos. Sa ulitin po na. Samahan niyo po kami. Nandiyan po ba kayo? Amen. Medyo may kabilisan to at masayang ulitin. Let's sing. Ready? Let's clap our hands. And praise to our God. Worship with one accord. Come on, every praise is to our God. Come on, church, sing hallelujah to our God. Glory, hallelujah, is to our God. Every praise is to our God. Come on, church, every praise is to our God. Every word of worship with one accord. Every praise is to our God. Sing hallelujah. storm. He will never leave us.
He will never leave us. God is for us. He has opened arms. He will never fail us. He will never fail us. God is with us. He will go before. He will never leave us. He will never leave us. For us. God is for us. He has opened arms. He will never fail us. Come on, church. Come on, say God, God is with us. God is with us. He will go. Yes, Lord. He will never leave us. He will never leave us. That's for us. God is for us. He has opened arms. He will never fail us. He will never fail us. God is with us. He will go before. He will never leave us. He will never leave us. God is for us. Come on, church. God is for us. He has opened arms. He will never fail us. He will never fail us. Lifted up, He defeated the grave.
Yes, Lord. Raise to life.
Raised to life, our God is able. In His name, we overcome. For the Lord, our God is able. For the Lord, our God is able. For the Lord, our God is able.
Come on, let's give the Lord a clap of praise. Yes, Lord God, you are able, more than able, Lord God. And in the middle of the storm, Lord, in the middle of our struggles, Lord, you are not against us. You are for us, Panginoon. Ang problema minsan, akala namin pag nasa storms of life na kami. Ba't mo kami pinababayaan, Lord? Bakit ganito yung nangyayari sa amin? Bakit puro kami question? Rather than acknowledge your presence, Lord. Because you are for us, not against us. Tutulungan mo kami, Panginoon, na harapin ito as we embrace the process, Panginoon. At patuloy namin kilalanin kung sino kami bilang anak mo. At sa gitna ng anumang mga pagsubok at anumang storms na hinahanap namin bilang mabuting tagapangalaga mo, tulungan mo kami, Panginoon, na piliin namin magtiwala at sumunod sa iyo. Because you are able, more than able, Panginoon. Sa anumang hinaharap namin sa buhay. So I pray tonight, at this morning, Lord, continue to challenge us, Lord, to believe at patuloy kami sumunod sa iyo. Salamat. Salamat sa tagumpay na aming nakamtan sa pamamagitan mo, Panginoong Jesus. Sa pangalan ni Jesus.
fighting to follow. Fighting to follow. That's something not common. Often, as human beings, we often will take what they call as the easier view. No? Kasi mahirap nga naman. When you say you're fighting to follow, it's a different story. Kasi you're actually understanding the place of the fight. Sa atin kasi madalas we follow to a point of comfort. I will follow like okay pa. When things are going my way, when my plans are working out as I have expected, when pag maganda, when you're following Jesus, it's easy to follow Jesus when there's no storm. Sabi niya ni Pastor Paul kanina, sabi ni Pastor Bob last Sunday evening, na after the storm, meron blessing. Sabi ng wife ko, wala bang blessing na walang storm? That's a question I've asked many times. Tama? I hate to break it to you though, but no, there's not. There's not a blessing without a storm. Because there's something about storms that prepares things for a blessing. Nililinis niya muna kasi, daming kalat. Napansin niyo ba yun? I saw a video it was a video and a picture of doon sa Palawan. Sa Palawan, di ba maraming mga yung underground river, yung mga ganon. Tapos may area doon where you have to like zigzag through the parang canyons na ganyan. Ganda. Kaso nagkabagyo, grabe yung basura. Na-trap yung mga basura ng mga turista dun sa canyon sa mga sulok-sulok ng mga caves dun sa Palawan. And they were taking in like drums and drums and drums of yung mga divers, iniipon nila, daming basura talaga, grabe. No? Hindi napapansin ng mga tao, yung pakonti-konti tinatapon, ganun lang, and you don't see that, and you fail to see that, and until you come to that point na magkaroon ng bagyo, naglaba sa lahat ng basura. Ganyan din sa Rojas Boulevard, nagkaroon ng bagyo last week, no? Hindi mo alam kung anong mas malala, yung basura o yung baha. Kasi nagdadrive ka na in your car, doon sa putikan, sa baha, no? Yung kotse mo kalahati na kalubog, tapos yung bubong mo hanggang ng basura. Ang kapal ng basura, grabe. No? Something about storms, they clear it up. It's easy to follow Jesus when things are going our way. It's easy to follow God when our plans are working. Pag masaya, pag masarap, pag okay lahat. Easy. That's the easiest time to follow. And truth be told, when things are doing great, hindi ka naman talaga nagpa-follow kay Jesus. Nagre-receive ka lang ng blessing. Wala nang masama to receive the blessing, but we must understand na yung point of blessing and point of trials are both purposeful sa Panginoon. Pareho yun. Meron. Pareho yun. So when you follow, sabi ng kadalang ko, I will fight to follow. Kasi when you're following Jesus, sinabi ni Jesus yan eh. In fact, it's sort of like a basis to this, to where we're going today. Kasi the people who are following Jesus sa Mark, and that's also mentioned in Matthew, they're following Jesus, and si Jesus at this time was becoming very famous. Medyo sikat na siya kasi ang dami ng mga miracles, tapos medyo matindi na yung mga ginagawa niya. In fact, Jesus at one point na inis eh. Sabi sa mga tao, kayo, sunod kayo ng sunod. Di naman kayo susunod pag hindi ako gagawa ng miracle. You're not going to follow me unless I do a miracle. Medyo somewhat irritated na si Jesus. And Jesus was telling people, ganito. And in the synoptic gospel, kasi yung sa Bible natin, nasa Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they are highlights of the life of Jesus. So sometimes you will see something mentioned tungkol sa isang bagay dito, Pero walang detail sa kabila. So pag binasa mo, mapagtutugtog mo sila, okay, gets ko na. Sa Matthew po at saka sa Mark, mayroong same rendering or kwento nung pagkukwentuhan natin ngayong umaga. Pero may kulang yung isa, may dagdag. Bakit, Pastor, ganon? Hindi po sila dagdag removing, hindi po ito election, may dagdag bawas, no? Wala po kinalaman ng Comelec sa translation ng Bible natin, no? May bawas, okay? Tapos nakasara na, basa pa rin, pero 2 years na. No, walang gano'n. Tsaka partial, 25% shading. Wala nun, okay? So, yung what we're talking about here is the Synoptic Gospels, merong binabanggit si Matthew na gusto i-highlight about an event, si Mark din meron, si Luke meron, si John meron. Kanya-kanya silang pananaw, pero same event. Okay? So what's interesting is, si Jesus was teaching and speaking to people, and was sharing the word, and he was teaching about the kingdom. And in the book of, I believe it was in Matthew, sa rendering sa Matthew, sabi ni Jesus sa mga tao, come follow me. Kasi dami sumusunod eh. No? Tapos mga tao just following and following. Sabi ni Jesus, you gotta follow me. Kasi sabi, you have to follow me. Yung mga tao, parang ang kulit nila, they just want to follow for the sake of, kasi sikat eh. Gusto ko yun eh. Like these days, sikat maging Christian ngayon. No? Sikat maging Christian ngayon. I remember in the 80s, lahat ng artista Christian. No? Pati mga bombasta, Christian lahat. 80s and 90s, man. Hubad-hubad, para kay 80s and 90s. Tapos hindi na fad. Ngayong fad na ulit. No? Ngayong fad na ulit. Sa America, you'll see that. They will, confess Jesus. Tama? Pero they believe in abortion. Hindi ko mapagtanto yun. Yung dalawa na yun. No? Pag yung politics nila, walang kinalaman sa Christianity nila. Nakakalimutan natin sa lahat ng bagay, may kinalaman lahat ng bagay. Hindi natin pwede maghiwalayin. In the Christian life, there's no sacred and there's no secular. Everything is sacred. In other words, lahat ng bagay sa buhay natin, sa Panginoon, kung taga-sunod ka ni Kristo, hindi ka pwede mamili. Okay, so ito yung mga tao, following in Jesus, sabi sa Christ, sabi niya, Master, sabi niya kay Jesus, I will follow you. I will follow you for the rest of my life. Sabi ni Jesus, come, sabi ni isa, wait, let me first bury. Maglilibing muna ako. Sabi ni Jesus, a famous verse I like to quote, pero is the wrong way, parang joke. Sabi ni Jesus, let the dead bury the dead. Hindi naman po malupit si Jesus. Kasi sabi niya, bayaan mo ng ilibing ng patay ang kapwa patay. What he was saying was, if you're going to follow me, huwag kang gumawa ng excuses kung kailan ka lang susunod sa akin. And so sa sobrang list ni Jesus, we will find in the book of, in some renderings, sa book of Mark, he decides, he says, sa list ni Jesus, sabi niya, let's go to the other side of the boat. No? Hindi nila alam they were being set up for a storm kasi it says there, and Jesus said to the disciples, let's cross to the other side. Ganun kainis si Jesus ng konti sa mga tao kasi bad trip na siya eh. So Jesus says, let's cross over to the other side of the lake. Let's go over there. Sabi niya, medyo bad trip, no? Siyempre, mga disciples, sakay naman sila sa mga. And so, they took Jesus in the boat, and they started out, leaving crowds behind, and although other boats parang itong mga tao, nagsasunod talaga eh, no? Naisip ako to, nung nangyari kaya itong bagyo, nung ginawa ng bagyo, wala si Jesus sa loob eh. So other boats followed, but soon, a fierce storm is breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. That's a lot of water. Hindi po ito basta bagyo na pupuno na. It began to fill with water. And Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head in a cushion. Si Jesus tulog, may unan pa. Tingnan mo yung katabi mo kung may dalang unan. Sabi mo, Brad, hindi ikaw si Jesus, bawal yan. Okay? Jesus was in the back of the boat with his head in a cushion. When the disciples woke him up, shouting, Teacher! Or Master! No? Don't you care that we're going to drown? Interesting word sa Greek, sa don't you care. Ang rendering sa Greek mo na, have you no concern? Wala ka bang pakisakin? Di ba anak mo ko? Have you felt like that sometimes in your life? As far as you know, you're following Jesus. As far as you know, sumusunod ka sa Panginoon. The best that you can, you're doing your best. You're not perfect, nobody's perfect. But you're following Jesus, and yet the Lord leads you into a storm. And you say to God, God, talaga lang, God? Have you ever had those? God, ano ka bang pakialam? No? Have you ever had those? I've had those. I've had times in my life where the storm was so heavy. The storm in my life was so heavy na humiga ka sa lupa. This is literally on my side. Yung mukha mo nasa sahig. Tapos pakiramdam mo, ang baba-baba mo na. Pero parang ang baba mo pa rin. Kung pwede kang maghukay, tapos pumasok ka sa loob, mas magandang description yun. Ever had those? Ever had times in your life you say, God, sigurado ka ba? God, wala ka bang paki? God, I'm just trying to serve you. Bakit ganito ang nangyayari? You ever had those? I've had those. I've had those. Ever had injustice to you? Ever been betrayed? Spoken of? Ever been willfully, hindi siya sadyaan, yung sadyaan na sinaktan o siniraan? I've had those. In my mind, sometimes I've had too many of those. Ever had those? Ever had one of those times when you regret that you ever followed God? I've had those too. Yung nagsisi ka, ba't kasi dapat ginawa ko lang yung sunod ko. Sumunod-sunod pa ako. Ever had those? I've had those too. So we're the same boat. Don't you care that we're going to drown? When Jesus woke up, he went and said to the water, silence. He asked them, why are you afraid? Do you still? That's what he said, still. Bakit kasi after all the miracles, they still doubt. Bakit po natatakot? Hindi pa rin ba kayo naniniwala sa akin? Interesting kasi sa Greek, do you have no faith? Kasi sabi niya, do you not give me any credit? Wala pa ba akong ginagawa para maniwala kayo sa akin? And the disciples were absolutely terrified. Who is this man? They asked each other. Even the winds and the waves, they obeyed him. Following Jesus into the storm. Some things we need to be reminded of. I actually had to shorten this thing. Kasi there was so much here. I'll just finish it up again next Sunday morning. So much. Saan ba tayo nagsastruggle sa times ng storms natin? There's at least 3 areas. Pagka dumaan, maybe some of you can relate. Pili ka na lang kung anong number mo. Mayroon ba na part-time loto? Pili ka. Which door do you like? Okay. I hope you don't choose all 3. Pagkatapos mo. When we struggle in times of our storms, the first time that we struggle in our storms is, we struggle with understanding. We want to have all the answers for all of our questions. Have you had those? God! Ano po ba sagot dito? You had those? Ever said to God, God, pwede ba pakiayos mo na lang? We struggle with understanding. No? Here they are, they're in the boat. Grabe, they're filling with water. And they're beginning to drown. How do you know delikado to? Kasi yung kumakausap kay Jesus, mangingisda. No? Pag yung karpintero, ang natatakot sa tubig, huwag ka mag-alala. Karpintero yun. Okay? Pag yung abogado, ang natakot sa tubig, huwag ka mag-alala. Abogado yun. Pag yung bankero, ang natakot sa tubig, umiyak ka na. Okay? I remember being in a storm. Buong pamilya ko nandun. Sabi ko, ang lakas ng bumabagyo talaga. Sabi ko kay Manong, Manong, okay lang ba tayo? Alam mo yung nakangiti, pero hindi nakangiti, naiiyak pero gusto tumawa. Yung ngiting aso. Okay lang, sir. Pagkatapos na lumiti, hindi na wala yung ngiti niya. Habang nagkakatulog tubig palabas, and we have those, we struggle with that. We struggle with understanding. We want to have all the answers sa lahat ng tanong natin, pero parang si Jesus natutulog. No? Gumawa ng senior, di ba, sa Tagalog dati ng unang panahon, natutulog ba ang Diyos? Parang naalala ko yung title na yun. Mga Pilipino, pag nagka-problema tayo, nag-iimo tayo. No? Mga Amerikano, nagbabasag ng kung ano-ano, mga Pilipino na umiyak na. No? Struggle number 1, maybe you're here number 2, you struggle here. You struggle with your helplessness. Katalo yung kamay. We want results in our favor, but we're not able to make them happen. So, we tell God. We don't ask, we tell. Tinuturuan natin si God. No? So we tell God what we want to happen. God, wala ka bang pake? Sa Matthew, ang ganda ng rendering, sabi niya, Master, we are drowning. Do something. We had those. Sabi ng isang pastor, ba't gano'n? Number 1 na ako, number 2 pa rin. Malaki, medyo malalim yung tama mo ba? We struggle with helplessness. Kasi ginawa mo lahat ng ginawa mo, pinili mo lahat ng pinili mo, lahat ng binuhos mo, kulang pa rin. Nagbakaw ka sa lahat, wala pa rin. You've read the Bible over and over and over. No? Sabi ng tatay ko binuksan mo yung Bible kasama mo, God! Bahala ka na kung saan mo magsaktong page ng Bible. Yun ang gagawin ko. Binagsak mo yung Bible, mukhang gano'n. Pagturo mo nakalagay. Kung ano sabihin ng Bible na susundin ko, pagtingin mo gano'n nakalagay. At nagbigti si Judas. So God, wala naman ganyan. So inulit ulit, binagsak mo ulit. Pagbukas na gano'n nakalagay, pupayo ka, gawin mo rin. Problema. Ever had those? You struggle with helplessness. No? Struggle with helplessness. Wala ka magawa Ibit ka lang. Nag-aaway ang magulang mo. Gusto mag-hiwala. Diba? Masipag ka mag-aral. Wala ka naman pambayad. Tama? Gusto mag-sakit ka. Nag-apply ka na nag-apply. Kompleto ka naman. Hindi ka makakuha na kuha. Kasi nag-aga. Kung ganito na lang kaya gawin mo. Ever had those? Ako magula. I confess. I have many suggestions to the Lord. I'm glad He did not listen to any of them. Kundi ang dahil ng mga patay na tao. God, ang kulit nito, pakikuha ko na lang. Yung gano'n. Kundi, halit ko sa hiya. Third struggle. We struggle, ano yung sabi natin muna? We struggle with what? Our understanding. We struggle with our helplessness. Third struggle. We struggle with our faith. Pag nagawa mo na lahat, tapos wala ka pa rin sagot, ito usually yung huli. Ang dami kong mga tao, daming mga tao naging atheist dahil dyan. Alam mo yun? Dahil hindi nila matanggap yung circumstances nila, because they can't accept the circumstances, because they can't accept the will of God in their life, they just decide, there's no God. Siguro walang Diyos. Kasi hindi niya binigay yung hinihingi ko sa Kanya sa oras na binigay ko. I'll just do it on my own. Ako na lang. I'll just make the right decisions on my own. Since I'm tired of God, that's really foolish, you know. Why is it foolish? Have you ever seen a child do his own thing? Sino dito yung mga anak ko, tigil sa ulo? Ako ang dami. Yung pag sinabi mo, wag, tapos kailangan niya subukan, kasi ayaw mo maniwala sa'yo, di ba? Kaya, huwag ka lumundag sa pitlog ng megaphone. Hindi, try ko lang. Diba? Tama? May barkada ako dati, yung anak niya, yung kanyang siyan, sila babatay ng anak niya tulog. Kailangan na mag-siyan. Nagkataon ko yung kanyang, hagdan, pababa. Tapos yung pintuan ng siyan nando, so baka magising yung bata, 3 years old, 4 years old. Ginawa niya, naupo siya sa inodoro, ang ginagawa niya, pag-buksan niya yung pinto para ma-observe niya kung nangyari. No. Opo. Nagkataon na tapos sa kanyang famous na biasis, so nakaupo siya doon. Pagka nagkasakit kayo, gano'n walang alisan yun, di ba? So, gano'n. Habang nakaupo ka, suddenly, dumating yung anak niya, 4 years old. Pagtingin niya agad, masama na ako doon. Alam niyo bakit? Kasi yung bata, may nakataling panyo, may pakpak. Sa mga magulang, alam na kung ano yung susunod doon, di ba? Tumayo yung bata sa top of the stairs. Sabi ng tatay, huwag kang gagalaw dyan! Diyan ka lang! Sabi ng bata, Superman! Na-inspire ng Superman. Sabi ng bata, Superman! Sabi ng tatay, pag bumaba ka dyan, Superman, papalunin na si Toron. Sabi ng bata, 1, 2, tayo si tatay, walang pulas-pulas eh. Bakit? Because the father understood the consequences that the child did not. Tama? Ha? Naintindihan ng tatay yung consequences na hindi naintindihan ng bata. When we struggle with our faith, we don't have an answer. We began to question God. But he was sleeping. Sabi niya, God, ano bang bakit? We struggle with His concern, we struggle with His plan, we struggle with God, and we began to question our faith. Totoo ba yan? Natin naiintindihan, the more we question our faith, the more we gorge ourselves in trouble. Mas marami tayong problema ginagawa for ourselves. Why, Pastor? Because God is not affected if you don't choose to believe Him. Tama ba yun? Affected ba si God kung gusto mo magpakamatay ka na lang? He's still God. Sabi na ni David, in the time of his great struggle, sabi niya, for He is God, and He does whatever He pleases. Hindi mo siya affected. Sirain mo yung buhay mo, sirain mo yung future mo, bahala na kung ano mangyari. He's not affected. We struggle. Pastor, may problema ako sa preaching mo. Kasi yung 1, 2, 3 mo, so far, 1, 2, 3, tsaka kung may 4, sigurado doon din ako eh. Good news, wala po tayong 4. So hindi ka sasabay doon. So what do we do? What are some things we need to remember when we go into the storm and we follow Jesus in the storm? Going back to Mark chapter 4, He says what? An evening came, Jesus said to His disciples, let's go to the other side of the lake. And they took Jesus in the boat, and they started out leaving the crowds behind. Although there were other boats that followed, but soon a fierce storm came. And Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. The disciples told him, shouting, Teacher, don't you care that we are going to drown? What are some things you need to remember in times of a storm? Maybe some of you are in this position this morning. Some things you need to remember in the midst of the storm. That you should remember His personal presence. Notice the verse. And Jesus was sleeping at the back. Sometimes, hindi natin nakikita si Jesus sa kayong plano niya sa buhay natin. right there. But remember, Jesus is always there. We can never be in a place where His presence does not go with us, and that His deity assures, His promise affirms. Let's look at theology for a second. God has at least 4 distinct major qualities. Ang application sa dalawa nito ay dalawa sa 4. First, He is called omnipresent. Ano yung omnipresent? That means walang lugar sa buong mundo o sa labas ng mundo na wala ang Diyos o ang presensya niya. There's no place in the world or outside of the world or in all of creation where there is no God or no presence of God. Sabi ng astronaut, the first man who walked on space, he was a Russian, and he says, I have been to the place where God is and did not find Him, so therefore I conclude there is no God. Sabi ng isang Christian philosopher in response to the astronaut, dear fellow respectable astronaut, may I just simply ask you, have you been to every place where God could possibly be? Napuntahan mo na ba ang lahat ng lugar kung saan posibleng meron Diyos? Because God is omnipresent. There's no place you can go. That's why in Philippians chapter 2, ano sabi? Chapter 2, 5 to 11, ano sa latter part, sabi niya, and that what? Of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth, and that every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father. Walang lugar. He's not only omnipresent, He's also immutable. Ano immutable? He doesn't change. God doesn't change. He's constant. He doesn't change. And what do I remember about His omnipresence? Sabi niya sa Matthew 28, sabi niya, what? And lo, I am with you always. Always. Kahit matapos ang mundo. Always. Pastor, what is my assurance na the deity of God follows me? Kasi yung promise niya. What is His promise? Sabi niya, heaven and earth will pass away. But my promise, my words, will never pass away. His word remains forever. His word remains forever. The deity of God assures His promise. And His promise affirms it. Yung pagka-Diyos niya, ang pwede mong isandigan na kasama mo siya. At pag nagduda ka doon, when you begin to doubt His presence, when you, listen to me, when you begin to doubt the presence of God, remember His promise. Pag nagdududa ka na sa bigat ng pinagdadaanan mo, kung ang Diyos ba nandun, alalahanin mo yung pangako niya. Because if He is not immutable, if He is not omnipresent, if He breaks His promise, He ceases to be God. Then hindi na siya Diyos. Kasi kung ang Diyos po natin ay naapektuhan ng pangako ng tao, walang kwentang Diyos yan. Magsasali na lang ako. That's not my God. I've said that for many, many years. And you can misquote me like many people misquote our president. I don't know if you understand the theology behind what he said, but it is actually true. Kung ganun kahina ang Diyos, then hindi magandang klaseng Diyos yun. Magsarili lang tayo. Because the God of my Bible says, He doesn't change, and His promises never fail. Pag dumaan ka sa bagyo, trust His personal presence. Ano ibig sabihin ng pastor? His presence always results in your peace. Ulit ha? Madalas kasi po sa mga Kristiyano, we look for the peace of God sa lahat ng bagay. Ay! Siguro ito yung tama kasi may peace ako doon. Ay, hindi po. Hindi po. Huwag kayo malinlan. No? No? Ay, pastor! Siguro siya kaloob mo ng Panginoon. Kasi panatagaloob ko sa Kanya. Tsaka pogi. Bad mood, bad mood. Madalas ganun tayo ngayon. Kalooban ni God yan. Kasi may peace ako eh. Hindi po, hindi po. Truth be told, no, the real will of God is found in the peace of God, even when there's a storm. Yung bang sumusunod ka, tapos sabi nga ng verse, and the peace of God, na hindi mo maintindihan, pero mapayapa ka. Malungkot ka, pero mapayapa ka. Nangihinayang ka, pero mapayapa ka. Masakit, pero mapayapa ka. Everything is there, pero mapayapa ka. The peace of God is there. Will keep you. I love that word, keep. Ibig sabihin ko sakluban, yakate. Will keep your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Kasama po ng presence ng Panginoon ang kapayapaan ng Panginoon. So mga magulang, alam niyo yan eh. Di ba? Yung anak niyo, no? Tama, nadapa, nahulog, nagkaroon ng bukol, tinubuan ng ulo, sobrang laki, nagwawala, umiiyak, it's a meltdown. It's a nuclear meltdown. Ano gagawin mo? Daming dugo, kung minsan may dugo pa eh. No, yayakapin mo. I remember na si Franklin medyo testing ko minsan yan. Sabi namin, anak, don't sit at the top of the stairs and you look under kasi ko nasa baba. Guess what? Ginawa niya. So from the top of the stairs, parang siyang stuntman, gumulong-gulong siya. Yung mga nari lang dito, asawa ko meron siyang alam niyo yung habulan statwa, yung pag nag-touch ka ito, hindi ka gano'n. Ang misis ko po may gano'n, pag nahugulog yung mga anak niya. Pag nag-accident, saka gano'n lang siya. Baka nagalaw, baka nagalaw! Ba, ikaw ang hindi mo magalaw. Diyan ka lang! Ba, ikaw yung diyan ka lang, gumalaw ka. Eh, nakaganon, may habulan statwa, okay. So si Franklin says, he's in the stairs, and I see it coming. Said, oh, Franklin, don't try. Guess what? Try. Gumulong siya para stuntman all the way down to the top, first floor to the second floor ng bahay namin all the way sa baba. Parang ang stuntman, no? Kasi si Jackie Chan starts falling, right? Pagbangon, alam niyo, umiyak pero tulog. You know that? Yung anak nyo, yung asong na di ba huminga? 3 days later, diba you know that? Eh, yung mga torture tries sa mga magulang yan, you know? Eh, si Agnes ganun premature, pag ginawa nyo, nagiging blue talaga yung katawan niya. So, it's like, gano'n, eh, paano ba hindi? Pagbangon ng ulo, oh my goodness! Yung ulo, tinubuan ng ulo. I'm not kidding. Kasi laki ng ping-pong ball na malaki na dito. Yung nakagaling talaga, nakabilog. Di ko alam kung dapat ko ba lagyan ko ng yelo o drawing ng mukha. Ang laki! It was massive, man! It's huge! So kinuha ko sa episode, get ice. You have to press that down, you know? Iditiin mo yan para lumubog. No. May choice ka, idiin mo para lumubog para hindi maging permanent yung bukol, o kumuha ka martilyo, tuktok mo yung kapila, para dalawa na. That's the only choice you have. So torture na torture pa po. So hindi mo niya, you cry, and he's struggling, anak, it's okay, daddy's got, anak, it's okay, you trust me. Eh, ang sakit eh. Ang laki ng yelo. Yung sa mga buksigero, ginagawa yan, di ba? Ginagalaw ko na. I was struggling, we're fighting. I had to pin him with my legs, and he's fighting with me kasi masakit. Sino may kasalanan? It was his fault, not mine. But I gotta fix it. So I'm fixing it. I'm struggling. And I said, anak, you have to see it. Nung nakita niya, nakulit kasi nakangana mo talaga eh, no? So just trust that. So I'm doing this number, doing this. You know, and finally, nag-subside na po, and we had to go to the hospital. No, to have it scanned or whatever and check kasi laki ka talaga, massive eh. So, you know, obviously negative naman yung brain damage, matagal na po yan, and so we fixed it, you know, and then in the midst of the crying, he comes down. Did the bukol go away? Well, lumubog. Did the pain go away? No, kasi matagal pa nakipasalo niya. Did the trauma of falling one story as I think he was 3 years old. When that happened, 2 years old. Go away? No, andun pa rin. Andun pa rin. But every time mom or dad holds him, nagka-calm down. Kasi he began to trust the hands. Dahil hindi kasi nasaktan ng magulang mo, kundi pinapagaling ka. Sometimes in the midst of our storms, we forget the presence of God. But the presence of God results in our peace. And the peace of God, na kahit hindi mo maintindihan, kahit magulo, kahit masakit, kahit may bukol, will keep your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. In the midst of the storm, to follow God, understand His presence. Second and last for today, to understand that when you are sinking, iba sa inyo rito ngayon, Pastor, hindi na ako nagsastruggle sa bagyo. Kasi po, malapit na ako mamatay. When you are sinking, remember, not only the presence of God, but the prevailing purpose of God. Bakit, Pastor? God's purpose and plan will always be above your storm. Remember, sino bang nagsabi na sumakay sila ng bangka? Bible quiz. Sino nagsabi? Si Jesus. Tama? As we learned already, He is not only immutable, omnipresent, He is also omniscient. Ano yung omniscient? He knows everything. Sasakay pa lang ng bangka, Jesus already knew there was a storm. Kaya siya pwedeng matulog. Kasi wala pa yung bagyo. Alam na lang Diyos yung gagawin niya. Jesus says, let's go over to the other side. You know why Jesus said, why are you afraid? Do you still, what was it, still? Wala pa rin. You know why He said that? Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith? It wasn't about the storm. Akas ka pang konti. Okay? Si Jesus, kinorek sila. Not because, listen, not because natakot sila sa bagyo. Nakakatakot naman talaga yung bagyo. Kundi po, nakalimutan nila na ang Diyos ang nagdala sa kanila doon sa bangka. Jesus questioned their faith, not because they should not be afraid of storms, but because they forgot that God led them there. When you're following Jesus, remember, when you're following Jesus and there's a storm, remember God led you there. Maybe meron siyang gustong linisin, meron siyang gustong alisin, meron siyang gustong ituro, meron siyang gustong hubugin. I don't know what it is, but if you're following God, remember, when the storm comes, God led you there. Hindi niya sinabi masamang matakot. Bagyo yun eh. He didn't say, I'm going to masaktan. He didn't say, don't be hurt. He didn't say, don't be scared. He didn't say, don't fear na baka mamatay ka. God never said that. There's no promise in the Bible that says that. But He questioned their faith, not because hindi sila dapat matakot sa bagyo. He questioned their faith because they forgot who brought them there. Jesus did. The purpose of God is always above your storm. Some of you are drowning this morning. I don't know over what. Some of you are hurting this morning. I don't know kung saan. Some of you are afraid this morning. Hindi ko alam of what. Some of you are anxious and worried this morning. Hindi ko alam bakit. Some of you are dreading na maging Lunes bukas kasi you're expecting something bad. Some of you nagpa-test, meron kang sakit, and you're afraid to know what's wrong with you. But you already have a clue what's wrong with you. Some of you are in a financial storm. You tried your best, or you still made a mistake, and ang laki ng problem is still there. If you're following Jesus, God's purpose is always about restoring. What do you mean, Pastor? Because your faith is not a result of your proofs. Your faith is a result of your choice to believe that God's plans and intentions are much better than yours. Ang pananampalataya mo ay hindi po resulta ng lahat ng pruweba na meron ka. Sometimes it just don't have proof. Ang faith comes when you choose to believe that God, grabe God, hindi ko alam paano to. But God, I choose to believe na yung plano mo sa akin, yung gusto mong gawin sa buhay ko, ay mananaig kesa sa sarili kong solusyon sa sitwasyon. Alam mo sa salvation, gano'n eh. Alam yung kaligtasan, yung pagpunta sa langit pag namatay, wala namang kinalaman kung nakita mo talaga yung langit eh. Wala namang kinalaman kung marami ang ginawang religious things. Kasi wala namang listahan sa Bible, gawin mo ito, tapos punta ka sa hell. Diba? Yung magnanakaw mo, wala nagawa, nakapako na eh. Yung tumulong sa mahirap, di nagawa eh. Right? But salvation comes from you saying to God, God, mabait ako, religious ako, beto. Pero God, I want to go to you when I die. Gusto kong pumunta sa langit pag namatay ako. So God, I choose your plan from you. Tinatanggap ko na ikaw lang ang tanging daan ng pagpunta. So I choose to follow you with my life. Ganun lang. Your faith is not a result of your proofs. It is a result of your choice to believe that God's plans and intentions are much better than yours. As I close this morning, may I remind you of this one simple statement. The things over your head are under His feet. Pakinamnam po ng konti. Medyo, let's sink in this morning. Whatever it is that you're going through. Lahat ng bagay sa ibabaw mo, lumulunod sa'yo, grabe, pinakain ka na. Nasa ilalim ng Panginoon. The things that are over your head, under His feet. Over your head. Pastor, hindi ko alam how this will be resolved. I don't know. But what's over your head, it's just under His feet. Pastor, paglabas, okay lahat? I don't know. I don't know the timeline of God. I don't know the purpose of God for you. The things over your head, under His feet. Kasi faith comes not from proofs, but from saying to God, God, your intentions for me better than for myself. So I want you to think about what storms you're going through today. Panginoon, lahat po ng lumulunod sa akin, nasa ibabaw ko, nasa ilalim lang po ng yapak mo. Things over my head, under, over my head. Would you think about that this morning? Because I can tell you all day, God has great plans. At the end of the day, ikaw yun. Asarin mo sa Panginoon. Panginoon, kung totoo po yan sinasabi ni Pastor Mel, then gusto kong sumunod siya. If totoo po yung binabanggit ni Pastor Mel, then God, yan ang gusto ko. Heavenly Father, as your people are here this morning, Panginoon, speak to us. Move in our life. Convict us, Panginoon, pag mali po yung decision namin. Guide us, Lord, the direction we're supposed to go. Ikaw po, Panginoon, ang mga sa natin. Because we know, ang lahat ng bagay, Panginoon, is over our head. Nasa ilalim mo lang. And so, God, I pray to you. that you would continue to speak and move in our lives. Those who are going through storms, Panginoon, remember, help them to remember, Panginoon, that you led them there, and your purpose prevails above this. Please, Lord, speak now. Would you stand in this moment? Things over your head. Under his feet. Sabi ng isang kanta, the things over my head are under his feet. The things I can't begin, he can complete. He can complete. Maliyak pa. Maliyak pa. Maliyak pa. As we're praying this morning, I don't know where you are in your Christian walk. Maybe you're in a storm this morning. Maybe you're going through some hard times this morning. As the Lord speaks to you, would you come and bring it to the Lord this morning and say, God, ito po. God, ito po yung situation. God, ito po. God, there's a storm. I feel like I'm drowning, but I want to follow you. Kasi gusto ko makita yung plano ko sa buhay. Kasi gusto ko manaig yung plano ko sa buhay. Follow Jesus. Sa dalawa lang yan. You either follow God into the storm or you go alone. You either follow the Lord sa gitna niyan o pupunta ka mag-isa. Diba? As the Lord speaks to you, the Lord speaking to you today, would you come and let's pray together and seek the Lord together and say, God, maybe you're here today and nandito ka sa ating church or you're watching us live. You're saying, Pastor, you know, I want to know Jesus sa ganyan parang. But wala akong nalalang time sa buhay ko where sinabi ko sa Panginoon, God, starting today, you be the Lord of my life. You be the Savior of my life. Would you say to God, ngayong umaga, sabi yung Panginoon, pagod na po ako, na ako nasusunod, ngayong oras na ito, God. I want to follow you. Gusto ko pong sumunod sa iyo. Sa plano mo sa buhay. Ikaw po, Panginoon, ang susunod. Maging tagapagligtas kita, Panginoon. Be my Savior, forgive me of my sins. Father. Father, as we're here this morning, you understand, Lord, every heart, every need, everything, Lord, is being prayed for. Alam mo po, Panginoon, lahat, nothing is hidden from you. So God, I pray for all my brothers and sisters here. Lord, let them see, Panginoon, na lahat ng bagay na tumataklob sa amin, over our head, they're just under your feet. Hindi ka po nagugulat. Your purpose prevails above our storms. Panginoon, you know when you are at work now. So God, I pray that you will continue to move, speak, and guide, and comfort, and give peace, Lord. Na hindi namin naintindihan kung nararamdaman. The past is all understood. Let that keep our hearts and minds. Please, God, I pray. In your great name we pray. Amen. as a guest in our church or as a visitor in our church, please know that hindi po kayo obligated para maging part ng aming office. This is the members in the tenders way of giving to the Lord. To our members and tenders, God has blessed us and blessed us enough to be faithful. So let's be faithful this morning. God has blessed us enough to be faithful. Let's be faithful this morning. Let's seek the Lord together. If you need an envelope for an offering, kindly raise your hand para po magbigay namin kayo ng envelope. Our ushers are there. Hindi po sila mamoleksyon. That's just for your use if you want to use one. Alright? Alright, you ready? Let's all come and bring our offerings together. Father, we praise you today. We thank you, Lord, for the privilege we have to honor you, to give to you, Lord, ikaw po, Panginoon, ang nakakaintindi for every situation that is here. Lord, bless the faithfulness of your people, Lord. Bless them in ways they've never seen before, Panginoon. Ikaw po, God, we want to pray, God, to continue to move and work in our lives today. Bless those who are faithful to you today. Let them be honored, Lord, in your eyes. Thank you for the privilege we have today. In your name we pray, praising you, Lord. Amen. Bata po nawawala. Kung sino man po ang magulang ng bata ito, ay hinahanap po natin. So, pakikuha po sa lost and found ng bata ito. Kaya po ka muna dyan. Last week po tayo. Parang puppet ka lang naman. Alam niyo! Alam niyo! Meron tayo mga announcement sa Public Festival. NYTC National Churches. Yay! Holiday to yun! Ang gulo. Asin ko lang dapat mo. Holiday to yun! Kaya ako taan, ang gawin natin ang pagpunta mula ang pasok ng araw na yun. Okay ba? Up to! Dapat pala kasama ko din nag-a-announce pala tayo, kaya yung mga tao, pag ako natin nagdadaldalan lang. Nakinig kasi kayo sa kanya. So, huwag niyo po kakalimutan sa mga kabataan natin maaga. No, August 21. Wala pong pasok yan. Araw ng Kalayaan, August 21. So, huwag niyo po kakalimutan. Okay? Sa 22 po ay may pasok. Just in case, sa mga estudyante natin dito, may pasok. So, yung kakalimutan. Pag-pray po natin ng good weather that we will have, and marami po tayong mga kasama na malayo pang pagagalingan. Hi, Gary! Gusto mo next week ko naman dito? Sabi mo. Kyrie, accept ikaw naman! Okay, so hindi po kalimutan, mga kids, okay, please don't forget. May practice na ba kayo? Wala na. Meron pa, kailan mo ng gabi? Ngayon, after nito. Okay, so mga kabataan po, to our youth, we have practice counting rehearsals right after service this morning, okay? Ililibre daw kayo ni Elmer ng Malalayang. Siya bahala. Cornic, kakanin. So, ang pangit. So, hindi po kalimutan to our members and attenders and coming. Please pray for one of our teachers sa aming school, si Teacher Gina. Lumaki sa amin dito, baka naging teacher yun. She had a mastectomy the other day in order to treat or to facilitate treatment for stage 2 breast cancer. So, biglaan po, nalaman, parang Monday, tama ba? O Tuesday, tapos by Wednesday, yung na siya. So, pray for Teacher Gina. Please mention her in prayers. Pray also for Tatay Flor, sa member natin sa Subic. Tatay po ay na-confine sa hospital. Hindi daw makatayo. Nahihirapan. So pray for Tatay. Okay? Alright po, that's it. Let's all go our worship team and be ready.
Alright, let's all stand. Pero before tayo before namin kayo i-dismiss, meron ba tayong guest this morning? Do you have any guests? First time, second time po na nakagano ngayong umaga. Meron ba? Sige, tingnan niyo yung katabi niyo. Tanungin mo, first time ka ba? Alright, makatin sa church natin. Salamat po sa pag-attend. Pwede po natin yung version na kinanta natin. God, my Savior, God, my healer. God, my Savior, God, my healer, God, my healer. What is it? Yes, He is. Yes, He is. God, my Savior, God, my healer, God. Yes, he is. Every praise is to our